Hey and welcome to Get Indie Gaming, to a new episode of my Before You Buy series, where I present some unfiltered gameplay and my impressions of some of the most anticipated indie game releases. We're heading into the late summer-fall period, which traditionally sees a spike in the number of games getting released, and this year is no exception. The first to feature in this busy period is Knights and Bikes, which is out today, August 27th on PC and PlayStation 4. This is the debut offering from developer Foam Sword, consisting of Rex Crowell and Mu Yu, both former Media Molecule staff with a wealth of experience on such games as Little Big Planet. Having spent much of my youth living on Guernsey in the Channel Islands, I quite honestly can't look at the game's quaintly British Cornish island setting of Penfurzy without self-referencing the look and feel of my experiences of my childhood. Just like the two girls featured here, me and my sister and our friends spent much of the weekend and school holidays dreaming up and acting out our own adventures. With the island of Guernsey being littered with leftover buildings and structures from the Second World War and Napoleonic era, we certainly had enough of a historical reference point to let our imaginations run amok, fighting off pirates and other assorted bad guys and ruffians over the years. All these battles and escapades were also fully aided by the bikes we had, and as children the relative freedom living on a small and reasonably safe island in the middle of the English Channel affords. In Knights and Bikes we have two protagonists. Demelza lives on the island with her father, and then we have Nessa, who at the beginning of the game comes all alone to the island on the last ferry of the season. Demelza has lost her mother and her father is heavily in debt, with the family facing eviction. Having met the girls, become instant friends, and set upon their own quest and adventure to discover the hidden treasure that legend says is to be found somewhere on the island. What happens over the next 6 in-game days sees you control one of the characters in either couch or co-op online play, with there also being a single-player option where you can switch between the two with an AI taking care of business of the other player. I found the game at its best when playing in co-op mode with a friend or family sat next to me on the sofa. Here we could easily discuss our plans and going about completing the various tasks to which you're assigned. The single player option is fine enough, with the AI to my mind sometimes being a little bit too clever and keen to solve a number of the in-game puzzles. More than a few times my AI partner had gone ahead and solved a puzzle or toggled some action to move the game forward, without me having been aware there was even a puzzle to solve. All in all though, the AI is one of the better systems I've seen of late in terms of how it interacts with you, although again, once in a while my partner would become stuck on, say, a rock or another part of the environment, although it's easy enough to swap into the marooned lady and manually fix the issue. This really is no biggie and isn't a game breaker, so for now it's just one of those things. The AI also copes well within the combat aspects of the game, which in fairness are never duly hard, and having played this with others from ages 7 to someone in their 70s, I can confidently say the combat elements where you go up against things such as cursed golf balls, living swords and amusement park mascots and more besides can be enjoyed by people of all ages. There are other faults. Some of the exploration side of the game and travelling from point A to point B can feel a little bit drawn out. Busy work even, to the point where most of the levels are between 10 and 15 minutes too long. The upgrade system to the girls' bikes is also underdeveloped. You spend some sort of currency that you pick up from defeating enemies and turning over rocks or opening chests. However, there's no explanation from the game if and when you have enough pseudo-cash for any given upgrade, which feels odd and misplaced. Also at times, the PS4 on which I played this game did stutter on occasions with frame rate issues, particularly during boss battles, which takes a little away from the clear artistic shine that's at the heart of Knights and Bikes. One other huge annoyance which had me looking in the settings to turn down the sound effects is the whine come moan come I need earplugs noise emitted when the girls do their running mode. I found this instantly jarring, and dear goodness, I wish I could turn it off. That all being said, it clearly isn't all doom and gloom. It's utterly beautiful to look at. It's all hand-drawn and reminds me of a child's pop-up storybook, all created with waxy Crayola-type crayons. The two protagonists and everybody you meet in the game are beautifully put together. Demelza is furnished with some of the most striking facial expressions I've ever seen, which I quite enjoyed, although others around me thought them to be at times a touch unnecessary. The soundtrack is also finely done, with perhaps the opening song featuring music you might hear from a child's punk band. It may grate with some, although once that early section is over, orally things improve to my ears and remain top-notch throughout. As for the story and overall character development, the writers have pulled together something I assume resonates from their own past. Penfersey could be like one of the seaside towns featured in The Smiths' Every Day is Like Sunday, where communities and sections of the British Islands were hit by the recession and downturn of the late 80s. The recent death of Demelza's mother is also touchingly referenced and subtly woven into the tale, without it being dominant in the narrative. As for the girls, each have their own high and low points within their character traits. Nessa can at times come across as being just a little bit too cool for school, and Demelza with her general zaniness does skirt into the section of the Venn diagram marked annoying, but really neither of them cross the line into being fully dislikable. Knights and Bikes for the most part succeeds in being a fun and family-friendly game with a fine overall story and with a cracking art style and musical score. It does have its shortcomings, which I'm able to forgive and look over, although others may be not so charitable. As I alluded to at the start of my impressions, the game wins a place in my heart for making me think and reminisce on my own childhood and the times we were doing simply stupid and dangerous adventures when we were growing up in Guernsey. Looking back, they were happy times, and I'm glad the developers Foam Sword were able to take me back into that overall mindset. Many thanks for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and if you have played Knights and Bikes, what do you make of it? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you all here again soon for more videos.